Hello, happy Sunday, namaste. My name is KJ Hamus, and I'm really excited to be here with you for our Sunday Night Yin. I hope you have had a lovely weekend and are looking just for a chance to get deeper into the body and to relax. So, if you're new to the practice of Yin, we will practice three main principles this evening. The principle is listening to the body and working with the appropriate depth and level of where you're at. So by that I mean, don't force yourself into something that the body's not ready for. Stick with about a 70%. We'll be working then with time, which is the second principle. So in Yin, shapes are held anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes, could potentially be longer. And I'll always let you know how long we're going to hold things. But it's through the length and time that's going to allow the muscles to kind of take a back seat so we can get into the deeper parts of the body, connective tissues, the fascia, and the ligaments and the joints. And then through the time and the appropriate depths, we're aiming towards stillness, which is our third principle. So really focusing on those other two, knowing you're going to be in it for a little bit longer so we can maximize that stillness, because it's in the stillness that we can really just start to explore the sensations in the body. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this practice with you this evening, and we're going to go ahead and get started. But before we do, make sure you've got a couple of different things here. You never know where your body's at, and the props help us meet ourselves where we're at in the moment. So definitely we'll want yoga blocks or books, your yoga block equivalent, a blanket or a towel or both, and then a pillow or a yoga bolster. I don't think anything we'll be doing this evening will require a yoga strap, but if you have that available, go ahead and just place it off to the side. You just never know. So with that said, we're going to get started in a comfortable seat. And I like to sit up on a blanket just to lift my hips up slightly above the knees. Feel free to sit up on your blanket or your towel or your yoga bolster or pillow, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And let the hands just rest by the sides. Feel free to close the eyes. Find a soft point for your gaze. And I'm going to ring the bell to invite us into our practice this evening. As we settle into this moment, take time to honor the path, the journey it took to bring you to your yoga practice this evening. Sometimes that path is simple, and sometimes that path is very challenging. So no matter what route you took to get here, you got here. And that deserves congratulations, that deserves honor, that deserves love. Because no matter where you're at, you showed up this evening to your mat for your practice. And take time to acknowledge the land that we're on, honoring people who've come before us, who are on this land, whose home it was before it was our own. So here in Washington, D.C., the land was the Anacostans, along with many other multiple tribes who make up Virginia, Maryland, and even other parts of the district. We take a moment to acknowledge their contribution to this land and our presence here. And as we settle deeper into this space and in this time, we thank and we honor the ancient yogis and practitioners who brought us our practice of liberation and freedom, stemming back from ancient India, We honor the Black and brown people who sat underneath trees and caves and on the sides of roads, wherever else they could find, to harness this practice and share it with us. Without them, we would not have this practice. I invite you to draw your breath in, filling up the belly, the back, and the ribs. And as you exhale, let it all go, cleansing breath. I invite you to take another full breath in, gather in as much air as you need. And then exhale, sigh it out, let it go. One final time here, full breath in and out. Orienting yourself in space and time. The space being here and the time being now. So for the next 60 minutes, focusing on what you need from this practice, what you need from your space. And start to tune into your breath. Letting that tuning in be also about creating the space around you that you need on your mat. And noticing what is being brought into that space from the day. What you're currently carrying with you emotionally, mentally, as well as physically. And approach this observation with love and compassion, and let it be a place of non-judgment and letting go of control. So don't try and change anything. Just observe what is traveling on your breath, what is traveling in your body today. Begin to tune in a little bit deeper, feeling the flow of the energy of the breath in your body. What parts feel like they're cascading like waterfalls and rivers? What parts of the breath in the body feel bound, feel restricted? Parts that need a little extra love and compassion. Becoming aware of the breath. So as you breathe in, name the action. I am inhaling. And as you breathe out, I am exhaling. In the simple act of that naming, meet you where you're at tonight. As you inhale, feel as if the mind, the thoughts begin to grow small and almost compact, but not so squishy that it gives you a headache. And then as you breathe out, feel the mind release, relax, as the thoughts melt away. Use this time to set an intention or focus for your practice. After all the observation, after becoming more familiar with your breath, what do you need here? What do you need from your mat? If nothing else comes to mind, I invite you to set an intention of love and compassion for your practice. And meet yourself where you're at in the moment. Sending gratitude to our body, to our breath, where it's at right now. Seeing if we can just create some more space. We'll take a full breath in here. And a full breath out. Begin to bring your chin to your chest. And gently blink open the eyes, just taking in the space around you. Slowly open. As you're here, and as you're ready to look a bit more, just look around at your space. Just orienting yourself here, noting what things are next to you, where the corners maybe are, if you have windows. And then as you're ready, we're going to come onto our knees. We're going to start in a toe squat this evening. So depending on how thick your mat is or how comfortable your knees feel today, I invite you to use your towel or your blanket for underneath the knees, just to provide a little extra cushion. As we come into toe squat, you're gonna, my pants are a little long here. You're gonna curl the toes under and reach down. Make sure the pinky toe is involved in this as well, especially if you have a longer pinky toe. So this shape is going to help us strengthen the ankles, stretch out the top of the feet, and we're going to be here for just about a minute. Depending on what your day was like today, how bound your feet were in shoes, or if this is the first time doing this shape, take it in stages. You do not have to hold the full time because that might be really painful, and we want to avoid pain. We're working in the discomfort. So you can stay here. If you need to come out, just rest your hands down, maybe come forward a little bit, take some of the pressure off, and then come back in as you're ready. 30 seconds left here. You're doing great. Keep breathing. We're going to notice the action. I am inhaling. I am exhaling. You can say it out loud if you're by yourself. Feel free to say it in your head. Let the breath be the focus. Take a deep breath in and out. Let's gently place our hands down, uncurl the toes. I like to wiggle my feet on the ground a little bit, get the blood moving. And let's pause here, sitting back on the feet and just noticing the sensations that are coming up in the body after opening up the feet. There are 6 energy channels that start and stop in the feet. And because of the way that gravity works and our blood flows, they can get really bound. Also, shoes contribute to that binding. So maybe you start to notice that almost the floodgates are kind of opening a little bit in an energetic way. Now we're going to take the counter stretch to that. As you're ready, we're going to come into ankle stretch. So you bring your hands behind you and being very mindful, you're going to slowly just start to lift the knees up. This can be a great place for blocks to draw the ground closer to you as you lift the knees. You do not have to come up super far here. We'll be here for a minute because one of the things that can affect how far our knees come up is actually the mobility in our ankle. Part of our mobility and our range of motion is determined by the ankle joint itself and where the bone meets the bone. So if you find that there's not a lot of extension or flexion in your ankle, then you might be like, oh, I'm not going back as far. But the goal here for the stretch is along the front side of the foot. So as long as you're feeling that or feeling stretch along the, on the foot, you're good to go. 30 seconds here. And continue to name the breath. I am inhaling. I am exhaling. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Slowly lower your knees back down. And again, feel free to come forward into a tabletop. Draw your feet to the ground. Make a little noise there. Take a few ankle rolls here. Clockwise, counterclockwise. And breathe. As you're ready, sit either back on the feet or come into a comfortable seat and notice the sensations and how they feel in the body. So what do you notice taking place here? It's always a good idea to check back in with yourself once we know what we're finding the appropriate depth, but we're tuning into our body's needs and wants and the sensations that are coming up. We don't want to shy away from the sensations that happen. We want to embrace them. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Beautiful. Go ahead and remove, if you've got something underneath your knees, just gently place that off to the side. We're going to come into a tabletop shape before we come into our next yin shape. Our next yin shape will be a dragon cycle, which I'll explain a little bit more about as we get into it. But just opening up the hips a little bit more, working into their mobility. So take one of your blocks or your books from your tabletop shape and place it on your low back, balancing it here. As you bring the hands underneath the shoulders and the hips over the knees, just think about drawing belly button slightly in, finding your neutral spine. Okay, crown of the head forward, hips back. From here, float the right leg and knee off. Keep it at a 90-degree angle and flex the foot as if you're trying to make a footprint on the ceiling. And then begin to slowly rotate the knee out to the elbow, almost as if it's a dog at a fire hydrant. Draw the knee back into the chest and then bring it back up. So we're moving from internal rotation to external rotation, back into an internal rotation. So we keep the block on our back. We'll take 3 in each direction on each leg. We'll keep the block on our back to remind us to get into the hip joint and not use the low back. By using the low back, we sometimes are like, oh, I've got so much mobility and things, when in fact, we're just engaging other muscles. And it's okay if the block falls. You're just, it just says something. It just is a learning opportunity. And then go ahead and place it down after you've taken 3 in each direction. You might be a little timid at first. Don't worry about it. Take your time. Learn about your hip joint. And this can change on any different day. So as you're ready, move on to your left side. 3 in each direction. And then after you've taken your 3 in each direction, go ahead and gently remove the block. Actually, you might want to keep your block as we come into our next shape. So we're going to come into a dragon cycle next. We'll start on our left side here. So from here, you're going to bring your left foot underneath your left knee. And you're going to straighten out your back leg. So this is going to help us get into our left hip joint, but also our right hip flexor. Blocks are going to be great here surrounding the left foot as we come into baby dragon, a la baby shark. You're welcome for putting that into your head. So we're going to be here for 4 minutes. We'll start in baby dragon. We'll then bring our hands to our thighs after 2 minutes for dragon flying high. And then we'll bring our hands inside our leg for dragon flying low for the final minute. So here we go. So this is a shape you'll definitely want to find the appropriate depth for. We want to keep our focus on the breath. So let's take 10 breaths in together as a group. So inhale for 1, exhale for 2. Inhale the noise, exhale peace, 2. Inhale compassion, 3. Exhale compassion, 3. Inhale love, 4. Exhale love, 4. Inhale peace, 5. Exhale peace, 5. Inhale 6. Exhale 6. Breath in 7. Breath out 7. Inhale calm 8. Exhale calm 8. Inhale justice 9. Exhale justice 9. Breath in 10. Breath out 10. From here, bring your hands up to your thigh for dragon flying high, or if it feels better, maybe even bring your hands to the highest level. I apologize, my head's getting cut off right now, but it's not doing anything special or important. Come back to your breath. Repeat the 10 breaths in, or naming the action. Take a breath in and out. Final dragon cycle variation for this side. Bring your hands inside your foot for dragon flying low. Bring them to the ground or to a block. I have a block here for myself. On the lowest level, feel free to bring your hands to the ground. Breathe here. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Gently start to come out of this shape. And then let's find our way onto our backs or to our bellies for puddle pose. So depending on how your hip flexors feel, if there's a lot of sitting and more strengthening and not of lengthening, that might have been very challenging on your front hip flexors, your right quad. And that's okay. That's why we're using the breath to stay in the moment and notice how we feel so we don't get to the point of pain We can work within the discomfort. And take a deep breath in, deep breath out. I invite you to roll over onto your left side. I'm just going to roll onto my right so you can all still see my face. And then draw your knees in. Wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a really big hug. And then as you're feeling stable, begin to slowly make your way back up to your comfortable seat. All right, we're going to move on to the other side for our 4-minute dragon cycle. So we'll be on our right foot. Our right foot will come forward. Our left foot will come back. So we'll be in dragon flying low for 2 minutes. So hands will be either on blocks or on the ground. Hands will come up to the thighs or flip the blocks up to their highest level for dragon flying high. And then the blocks will come inside the foot for dragon flying low. So for this next 2 minutes, choose which breath path helps you. One that helps ease the anxiety, one that helps you tap into your body. So counting the breaths, 1 inhale, 1 exhale, so on and so forth up to 10, or continue to name the action. Feel free to close the eyes here and find a soft point for your gaze. You've got this. At any point you need to, come back to your intention and greet each moment with love and compassion. Take a breath in and out. Let's come up to dragon flying high. You have either hands on the thigh or on the highest level of block. You just want to make sure you're lifting up. And take a breath in and out. And then bring your hands inside the foot, block or ground for dragon flying. You have about 30 seconds left here. And take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Gently come out of the shape. Moans and groans are perfectly acceptable. Move nice and slowly. Sometimes coming out of the shapes can be really challenging. It's better to ease into even coming out of the shape than to force it. And as you're ready here, go ahead and come onto your back, onto your belly, puddle pose. So take a moment as you check back in with yourself. Check back in physically. What do you notice about the areas that you originally had felt restricted in or limited by? Is there a more sense of openness? Can the breath flow a little bit easier? Or is it getting stuck? Did something new come up? And there's no right or wrong answer. But just take note of what new may have come up. Is there an emotion traveling with that experience? Or is there more space for you to experience the feelings that you're having with you right now? And take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Roll over onto your left side. Pause for a moment, giving yourself a big hug. And let these hugs, let these moments here be places of love and compassion, coming back to the journey it took to get you here and your intention for tonight. And then as you're ready, go ahead and sit back. So we're gonna take our toe squat and ankle stretch sequence once again, and just notice the differences between the first time and this time that we've taken it. So feel free to take your blanket or towel and place it underneath your knees. Sit up on the knees and then curl the toes under. Again, making sure that your pinky, if it's a longer pinky, is with the rest of the feet. We're going to set our timer here for 1 minute. Use this time for what you need from the shape. Again, work it in its stages. If this is only your second time doing the shape, do not feel like you should have to hold it for the whole minute. Maybe you get an extra second longer, or maybe it's still just as challenging. All are valid places and wonderful places to be. So keep breathing and work with it. And take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Gently come forward, wiggle your feet around. Maybe here you take some more ankle rolls, smack them on the ground, and sit back for a moment and just notice how you feel. Have the sensations changed in the body? Do they feel relatively the same? Has nothing changed? And just observe, notice, check back in. And then from here, we're going to come into our ankle stretch. So again, great place for blocks. Bring the blocks next to you on whatever level feels good. And then as you're ready, go ahead and lift your knees up, working toward that stretch. One thing that might help too is if you separate the feet a little bit apart from each other. So if they're really close, maybe you're not getting the stretch that you want. So see if separating them a little bit helps, or maybe drawing them a little closer. Feel free to adjust and explore that expression in your body. Be mindful of your knees here. So if you feel any pain in the knees, get out of it. Maybe you take one and then the other if there's any knee challenges. 30 seconds left here. And take a deep breath in and out. Slowly lower down. Once again, come back out. Smack your feet on the ground. Get the blood removing. And then take a few circles on the ceiling with Take a few circles with the ankles here. And then bring your feet forward. And just pause. Maybe point the feet, flex the feet. And then stop. And just observe how you feel. As you're ready, go ahead and blink open the eyes if they're closed. We're going to come into a supported butterfly or fish. The upper body setup is the same for both. It just is going to be a variation on what you choose to do with your legs. So to start, I recommend using 2 blocks and then your yoga bolster or pillow. Depending on how open you're feeling up top should help you determine what level you're going to want your blocks at. So if you're feeling slightly less open, let's say you were hunched over a lot today, like doing a lot of stuff on the computer, or that's been your weekend, I would recommend putting them on the tallest setting, the lowest setting, So medium and then low, just to bring yourself a little closer to the ground and not have such an extreme opening of the heart. But if you're feeling a bit more open, or you need that opening and that's going to feel comfortable for you physically and emotionally, go ahead and bring 1 block up to the tallest for the head, and then the second block to its medium level. And then from here, drape your some pillow or a bolster over it. So take a moment as you settle into this shape to adjust the head block and maybe even the shoulder block. You want this second block that's going to go in between the shoulder blades. I like to do it at a vertical angle, but if you choose to go horizontal, place it right underneath the shoulder blade, so at that pointy part of the scapula. And then you'll lean back. Let the arms rest out by the sides. Maybe they're up to receive energy or down for grounding. So 2 options with the feet. First, you can bring the soles of the feet to touch and let the knees open out to the side. That is a butterfly leg. Or more of a fish pose, letting the legs be nice and long. The choice is really yours. Again, with the lower half of the body, let your hips be your guide here. If you've got more blocks per se, you may even consider putting some blocks underneath the knees if it's a lot to just have them open without that support. So we're going to set our timer here for 5 minutes. So as you settle in, maybe you take a couple of full breaths in and out. Reorienting yourself in space and time, and making any micro adjustments you need to make. Feel as if the heart is starting to open. This will be hopefully a gentler heart opener. But again, always with this, mind where you're at emotionally. So being on the tallest levels is just a lot. If you're feeling very exposed, very vulnerable, consider coming down a level. You may even consider, if you want to stay here, taking your blanket and draping it over the chest. See what providing a little extra protection or weight on the chest can do to make you feel better. And if there's just still too much vulnerability there, if it still is just uncomfortable, come out of it. Maybe you come into a child's pose or onto the belly, but always know you can leave a shape if it becomes painful emotionally as well as physically. I'm going to let you be here to focus on your breath, to use this as a meditation. And I'll see you with the 30-second one. About 30 seconds left here. Breathe deeply. Breathe slowly. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and just gently roll off your props, whatever side feels best for you. And then give yourself a really big hug, pausing here for a moment just to notice how you feel. And then from here, gently find your way back up to your seat. So our final shape this evening is going to be a caterpillar pose. So bringing your legs out long, feel free to put a little space in between the legs too. Not a ton, but just a little if you need it, or keep them close together. It's really up to you. As you sit here, notice what your pelvis is naturally doing. So is it naturally drawing you back? Or do you find that you're able to take more of a neutral spine? Or is it tilting you forward? If it's tilting you back or even considering tilting you forward, I would recommend sitting up on your blanket here. And feel free to adjust the level to what feels good. This will lift the hips slightly above the knees so we can hopefully hinge a bit more from the hips. You can always do this sitting on a block, but sometimes that doesn't feel very nice on the tush. So something soft could feel better. And then from here, we'll just begin to fold forward. We're not actively reaching for the feet. We're not pulling ourselves. We're going to fold, letting gravity do the work. So let the hands rest where they will. Let the head hang heavy. Another option here is to always place maybe your pillow or your bolster underneath the knees. That might feel a little bit more into the back, might be a little gentler on the hamstrings. Even there, you might feel as if you're able to find a tilt in a different way. So as you're ready, letting our forward fold take effect, we're going to be here for 5 minutes. So really using this time to embrace stillness and to ease into the shape a bit more, to relax into it. About 30 seconds left here. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And then just slowly just come on up. Taking any final movements you need before finding your way to Savasana, final resting pose. Free to even take a slight back bend here too. You're folded forward. And take Savasana however you like. Maybe you come back into your supported fish or butterfly pose. Maybe you take this on your belly, on your back. If you're coming on your back, consider placing your pillow underneath your legs once again, just to release. And then close your eyes here. And just let go. Find your gentle awareness. And breathe naturally. You are here. Begin to deepen your breath, awakening the senses to the outside world. Invite physical movement back into the body, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. And then taking your time, begin to gently transition to a comfortable seat at the top of the mat. As you pause here, maybe bring your peace fingers down toward the ground, connecting them to the earth. Feeling the connection not only to yourself, but to the whole. We honor those this past week who have been using their voices, their time to support each other and to speak up when we need it the most. We feel this connection, so we remember we are part of something bigger. That we need to send love and compassion to those around us and help everybody feel free. It is not an easy path. It is a path worth taking. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. Hi, Mama. And I look forward to practicing with you all again soon. Bye.